Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Belvista Studios Show. We were just talking about theme songs, so I feel like that's why my intro is like a little bit like that. But anyway, today, our special guest is the one, the only, Robin from Idle Courses, absolute legend. I want to start off by recognizing you. I got two things in particular that come to mind. First of all, as a human, just being committed to your goals and your journey. I feel like we talk regularly and you're like, I got these goals, got my actions, they're big. It's not just like, I'm going to do this little thing. It's like, I got this epic goal and I'm going to achieve that in the next month. And you always smash it and more. And I just find that very inspiring. And I think that just really speaks to doing what you love. And yeah, I just think that's awesome. And the other thing is the commitment to your idols, because you're constantly like, how can I help them better? How can I make their lives easier? You're constantly thinking about that and taking action on it. And I feel like if you just look at, like, I can only judge by social media, but like what I see on social media is so much love for your community and how it has impacted people's lives. So I just want to recognize you for that, because I think it's really awesome. So you're rock, and I'm excited to have you here today because you're going to take us behind the scenes of the Idle Academy. So Robin, over to you.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Kim. Like, I appreciate that. And it's funny that you bring that up because I literally just got back from a retreat where I was supposed to go and take like a think break for these last couple of days. And most of what I did was exactly what you said, was like, how can I make things better for my idols? What can I do to serve them better? How can I make this easier? Where is it that they, are struggling that I haven't like found a path for them or found a way to make it easier, and so on and so forth. So I appreciate that recognition, because it's what I do even in my think break time.
Well, I think that's such a, like, you're an entrepreneur and that's like, so am I, but what you've done there to create that space out of your business to work on you and the path forward and all that, like, that's just epic. So, and I know we spoke about that a while ago, so I'm glad, like I said, action taker, sets goals, go smash them. So there you go. Anyone that is a business owner, schedule in that time to work on your business, work on yourself, away from in the business time.
It's kind of a hard thing to do, to be like, oh, I'm going to be like away from my emails and I'm going to be away from my community. I'm going to be away from my business for 2 days. I mean, it is kind of like, you just have to schedule it, like you said, and make it happen. Otherwise, you're going to come up with a million reasons why now is not the time, which I think that could be said for a lot of things, like having children or whatever.
Okay, let's keep it to the industry. No, if you hadn't have done that, if you think about your growth now, whether that's personal or business, not allocating that time versus allocating that time, what would the trajectory, if you were to do like a little grid, like line thingy like this, where would it have been if you hadn't have taken the 2 days? And where is it going to be now?
I know.
You have to do it in actions. You can't do it in words. You have to do it like this.
Yeah.
A little graph.
I mean, without any real data to support my graph, I will say that if no time for myself, it goes like this, meow. And time for myself, then it'll just go like this, right? Because you got to have like a fresh brain. It's like required. Yeah. So that's mostly why I did it too, because like it's kind of required.
Yeah, I back that up.
Yeah. And also, like, I did a trip to Peru in January, and I just saw so much benefit from just taking that vision quest time, or whatever you want to call it, as far as like what has happened just for Idle Courses this year. And I mean, I'm all the way in. I'm bought in on it. It works.
Beautiful.
So, you want to see inside the academy?
Yeah, go on.
It kind of rhymes.
Maybe we need a rap career.
I know. Well, I'm working on it. I'm multipath.
See?
Polypath or whatever.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, I got to get rid of all these tabs, I suppose. All right. So When you first enroll in the Academy, you get a whole library of things. And when you log in, this is what you see. And you get access to the Academy, which is where all the training lives, like the self-directed training. We also have a community and feedback for people that don't want to be on Facebook. That's actually a new addition. So the kind of thing about the Academy is you can enroll in one cohort, and then before the next cohort starts, you'll log into the course or whatever, and you'll be like, what has happened? Where did everything go? Or things have moved. Because it is all about, just like you said, it's all about like making it better, improving. The library grows, and just I'm always taking feedback from the learners. And as a matter of fact, I even pay them to implement their ideas if they reach a certain level. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But you get we have our Facebook community where that's where you kind of do our networking and our chatting and things, and some brainstorming for ideas. But you actually get the feedback. We're going to keep it all in this community here. And this is where people will request feedback from their peers, and then they can get feedback from our Academy coaches. And the way that we decide like who's an Academy coach is people in the Academy, they've already gone through the Academy, they reach their big idol goal, whether that is to start their freelance business or to have their first, big client, as a contractor, or of course their full-time corporate instructional design role. So once they reach that big goal and you see them in the community as people who give like really good feedback, they are the action takers who reach their goal, they become the Academy coaches. And so the way that it works is you submit for feedback from your peers, and you submit it in here, and you get feedback on those things. And then you can actually submit to your Academy coaches in here. And this is where the actual Academy is. And so it looks something like this. And so the Academy is not really necessarily a linear course in the sense like start at this lesson and go all the way through all the lessons and then ta-da, you're an idol. Instead, it's about supporting you to build the assets and to do the work to become an idol, because it's not I think so many people are used to university courses or what they grow up kind of thinking education is, where it's like, here's your lesson and here's your homework. And if you do your homework, then you either get a passing grade and you like get a degree. But in the Academy, it's not like that, right? Because as you can imagine, like instructional design lives kind of in the gray, right? Because we're problem solvers. And so there's not always like a black and white answer to things. There are strategies that we use. There are models and process and different things that we apply depending on what our design is going to be and who our learners are and what our audience is and what our problem is. And if you take all those factors into account, that means you have to kind of know what those factors are to even make those decisions. And so because of that, the Academy is not linear. Instead, you have a set of, recommended tasks that you should complete, and you have all the resources and people and live components to support you all along the way. But it's not like you're going to make a storyline course and here is your topic and here is the buttons you should press and so on and so forth. So we do have articulate storyline training and things like that. But what I'm saying is like, I can't tell you what to put in your portfolio specifically. I can't say like your topic should be this, and this, because then everybody will look the same. And so that's the number one thing I think I have to make sure that people understand about the Academy. And so they get a welcome, and then it's just like kind of like basic housekeeping things in here. But I've kind of rearranged it to where it looks like posts, and so that even if you get to like the last lesson, like a Trello tutorial, it doesn't even go to the next category, right? You have to go back so that you really understand that in these groupings they might be in order, but it's not like if you follow all the lessons you'll be an idol.
Yeah.
And I think that's something very new for a lot of people. But in response to many people wanting something that's like step-by-step, I've started a Do It Messy 2-week jumpstart for
Tell
this
us
round of the,
more.
huh?
Tell us more.
This is pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited about this. And so it's all about taking imperfect action. And so my goal for people is to have them, you can see the outline right here. I don't care. You can see the entire outline of like what it takes to start applying for jobs. And this is all to do it messy. And so some people might do it messy and do all these steps, start applying and start getting jobs pretty fast. That's my goal, is always to get results faster. And so that's why I did like a do it messy challenge. And so what are the things that you like have to have like a minimum viable portfolio, minimum viable job application assets? And so this is the step by step, right? So this is the version of the course where I just, like, for instance, get a website. I don't even let them choose anymore, because so many people just they couldn't pick, or they struggled with which platform to use or whatever. So I just tell them exactly what website to choose, what hosting provider to choose their domain. And it goes through like, this is how you do it. You're going to do it on Google Sites. You're going to use Google domains, the end. And of course, there's other lessons in the academy. Like if you want to dig around, I have like a portfolio website shell all set up and things like that. But many people are not used to building websites. And so landing on WordPress for them is just like what?
Yeah, it's overwhelming. So I like, sometimes choice is too much. And especially when you're like delving into a new world and a new pathway for your journey, sometimes you just need to be told. So I like that you've reined it back in and just like get it out there, because this holds so many people back.
Yes, I found exactly that, because I think I kind of approached it from at the beginning. I approached it from the perspective like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is like, recommended things, and I would spur them on to action. But it was that they would get stuck and like small decisions about, oh, there's like 6 different choices, and you're exactly right. So this is the narrow it down. You're gonna do it this way if you want to follow step by step. And so I'm actually currently like finishing the build for all the Do It Messy challenge, but that's what that looks like. And then what you do in the academy is, as you complete after the 2-week jump start, then you start building your assets. And we have a list of things that we recommend that you polish off and build for your portfolio. And so you go and you get feedback from your peers, which I just kind of mentioned that feedback community is for. And then you also get feedback from your academy coaches. And so you get it first from your community, and then there's actually a type form that lives in here where you can get it from the academy coaches, and you just submit your assets. And they get it back in like 2 to 3 business days, and they give detailed feedback of anything and everything. And this works for, what's really cool, I think, about the academy, in my opinion, and from the members, is that this never runs out. So it's not like you just get feedback from when you're in your cohort for that 8 weeks. Instead, you can get feedback every time there's a new cohort. And that's whether you're working on a project for a client, you're working in your new role, or whatever it is. And it could be a script, a storyboard, a logo. I mean, we don't care. We'll help you get some good eyes on all the different things. And then what else do you want to see? I'll just keep going through. So that's all. So the course also has credentials that are included. So there's a eLearning developer badge. And so to get the eLearning developer badge, you're usually not going to get your badge the first time around.
Ooh, what do you mean?
I know, right? People
controversial.
I know. You don't just get a certificate of completion. Instead, what I'm looking for in that eLearning developer badge is you've actually done it messy like once or twice. Who knows how long it takes you to like really figure out how to create a nice, clean course. And by the time you get to eLearning developer, you should be submitting a course that meets the badge requirements. And what I really look for is, if I saw this course as a hiring manager, would I say, oh, yep, they're an eLearning developer, I can hire them and feel confident that they can develop my course from a storyboard?
Yeah.
That's it. And so that gets a little, that makes it a little more strict as far as like earning the credentials than just creating something in storyline,
Yeah.
right? So
What would be the difference between the first do it messy version and the one that they get a credential for?
yeah, so the do it messy is like, minimum viable portfolio. So do it messy means like, you'll have time to polish things as you're applying for jobs, right? Like you can still submit those messy things to your peers while you're applying. You can submit it to the coaches, and you can kind of go through those rounds of feedback. Because you have time while you're applying, right? You're like having to submit applications, you're waiting to go through interview rounds and those kinds of things. And so you use that time to polish or create more assets like your badge type of asset. And so um, usually it takes people like once or twice to to create something that's like badge worthy. And I can even show you if you want to see like some of the types of courses that earn badges. So like this one was, I like this one. Let's see if I think it still works. So this is an example of one that earned the badge. And it has voiceover. That's one of the requirements, some kind of audio, so that we know that you can sync audio to your animations and your course.
That's
And
cool.
I also like this one because the theme is consistent. It looks good. She also does some bad email examples, and it gives scenarios. And I mean, we could go through the whole thing, but
Yeah, this is useful for people, I think. It's surprising how people are not familiar with the standard, what's possible. Just they have their own experience of going through e-learning as a learner, then they're going out and creating for the first time. So they're replicating what they experience, which may be really bad e-learning. And then that's more bad e-learning going out into the world. So if we can show them good examples, which is the intention of this show, that is useful for our industry and for the learners we serve.
yeah, and I'm sure they would be happy to share, if you want links or whatever to all the people that earn badges. But these are just a couple of examples for people that are ready to get in here and start submitting. But you'll see here I've made some notes about things that get sent back, like if your navigation is broken, if you use a template, like a storyline template that everybody recognizes, if your navigation buttons are on the screen and in the player, or if your images are blurry, or if there's any kind of inconsistency. Those are like send back immediately kind of things. Because just like you said, we don't want any more ugly learning. We want idols.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then for level 2, it's a instructional design document that they will submit. And of course, we teach you how to create instructional design documents and so on and so forth. You'll see some images are missing. I'm still updating. But so for instance, for the instructional designer, this one, they have to submit a full instructional design document. And so that's like the whole planning process. That's where you get your stakeholders buy-in. That's where you show that you know how to design courses and training. And so that's what this is all about. And a lot of people ask things like, oh, why does instructional designer come after e-learning developer? And the answer is that even if I put it in the order of instructional designer first, people would still start creating e-learning first. Like they just, everybody wants to play with the tools. And so it makes more sense to just kind of give people storyboards or, different topics or whatever, so that they can just, start with the tools and start creating, because that's what I think a lot of people are really keen on doing, is like getting in there and doing that kind of work. And then they can get into the design. It's just what I find that like that's what students want to do anyway. So that's why we structured it that way. Level 3 just means that you've got all your job application assets done. Your portfolio has at least 3 assets in it. And you submit your LinkedIn profile, your resume, and your portfolio. And that's how you become level 3. And then level 4 is whenever you reach your big idle goal and you work on your first big project, then you just kind of almost write key takeaways and a summary of the project and your role on it. And it really just kind of, it's kind of like a debrief of your first project.
Yeah, this is cool because there's a lot of like badges get a lot of shit, right? But what I love about what I'm seeing here is that you're making people work for them. Like you got to earn them. It's not just like, here you go, one little thing, please give me it. That is, people got to earn it. So it's credible, which is cool.
Yeah, that's kind of important to me too, right? Because, the credibility of our badges is helpful for our members, and then because they have to go through that process of creating something that truly is like badge worthy. And, as the Academy grows, we're still pretty new. We're like a year, a couple months old. So if we keep our credibility, more and more companies will find out like this is where we're hiring talent from, or people that come through the Academy. And so it's important to keep those credentials, meaning something.
That's cool.
And then we have like resources. And this is pretty huge. So when you get access to the Academy, you get access to Beyond, the business enterprise version. So you can anytime. So once you say you're like ready to use Beyond, you can get a login to Beyond through Idle Courses. All you have to do is submit a storyboard for your video, just so that you don't waste any time in there. And you get 3-hour blocks, and you can sign up for as many blocks as you want to complete your videos. And this lives whether the cohort's live or not. You always can get access to Beyond.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So a lot of people, like for instance, how you have to complete tests to get a job so many times. So it's useful for people in that situation because sometimes they might want to make a little micro training as their sample for a job, just depending, and they have access to Beyond. So they don't have to submit something with watermarks on it, or they don't have all the features and things like that. Of course, it's nice to have animations in your portfolio.
Yeah.
And then we have all kinds of things. So for instance, this is one of, where's the templates? Here it is. So even I try to think about everything, right? So even for your portfolio image mockups, I give you templates for mockups, even in Canva. And so all you have to do is drag images of your eLearning and just drop it in here, and you have like nice little layouts that you can put and link to your courses on there. And so I try to think about all things. I give workbook and worksheet templates that have been made. So I try to make pretty ones so that people can just put them in their own colors and reuse them. And they're all built in Canva. This helps kind of speed people's development process.
Yep. So people, because they're created in Canva, if they get the free version, they can make the edits themselves.
Yeah. So for instance, like here, I'll click on one. Like if I click on this Canva template, then they get it as a template. And then start using template. And there they go. They have their own copy once it loads. And of course, there's like extra like title slides so that you can pick which one you want. And just goes through all the things.
I think that's so useful for people because not everyone that's a developer or an instructional designer has like graphic design skills. So as much as possible, and also efficiencies, like if someone has designed something nice, you just have to adapt. So I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm always adding to here. Like I even have things in there like LinkedIn banner templates that you can use. And I know some of those things are already in Canva, but I just try to make things that are more like instructional design focused. Yeah. So there's a lot of templates in Canva already, but there's not a lot of worksheets or workbooks or checklists, or paths to success. So
that's cool. And I just want to point out to anyone watching this now, as Robin's like scrolling through, you should be looking at like what kind of templates, like we're not going through them all individually, but she's definitely exposing the value that's within that academy. So like go rewind and check it out. There's so much valuable stuff, like, and people are getting the results. They're starting their businesses, they're getting their first jobs, they're transitioning into the industry. So yeah.
One of my other favorite things about the Academy is that you get access to any and all resources that you need to build things. And so the way I do it is I have a corporate account to, what is it, Elements? I can't remember.
Envato?
Yeah, Envato. There it is. It's elements.envato. I couldn't remember which way it went. So all Academy members have to do, which this has everything like stock video, video templates, music, graphic templates, like icon packs, PowerPoint templates. And so just like you said, so many people struggle with graphic design that we're not graphic designers by trade. Instead, we are tasked with making things visually appealing, but why not borrow from those that have already done that part of the work? And then many times, like, you're going to need to borrow because you don't have time to sit around and fiddle with it and make your own like perfect version because you got to get it out the door. And so Academy members have access to Envato Elements. All they have to do is do something like, I don't know, business icons. They go find an icon pack, for instance, that they like. They'll be like, oh yes, I like these for whatever reason. And they just copy this link and they send it to Blaine at idlecourses.com and he sends the downloads to them.
That's so cool.
They can do that as much as they want.
That's awesome. So there's in Envato, you've got like sound effects. It's kind of a one-stop shop for all media assets. So sound effects, video, footage, I think, icons, photos, fonts, or there you go. You can see it all the way up the top on the navigation banner. So I'll just...
I mean, there's a lot in here. I mean, there's things that you might not ever need to use because it's like, for instance, like video templates are in Adobe After Effects. It's not something that I'd encourage you to like learn in addition to all the other things. But whenever you get to that place, you'll still have access to Envato Elements and you can play with all the things.
Yeah.
So that. And then the other new thing I'm doing for this cohort is I'm assigning people mentors. So I already have idle mentors, and what they do is they host. There's about 7 of them, and so every day of the week there's somebody hosting an idle mentor session where you can it's like an open office. You can just go in there, and they kind of have a structure as far as like how they run their idle mentor office hour, but it's really about building kind of smaller communities within our bigger community, answering questions just in time, really supporting our students so that they don't feel alone or like in kind of like a sea of people. And this time, instead of, just go if you want, instead for the first 2 weeks, you can go to like all the different idle mentor sessions and you're going to be kind of picking somebody that you want to show up to their weekly mentor session every week for those 8 weeks. And I think the reason for that is people just, sometimes it helps, just like you said, like narrowing choices. Maybe they also need to be required to have some kind of accountability in place. And so they'll be able to pick their mentor and it's going to be the same time, the same day, every week. And so they'll just commit to that 1 hour, that 1 day a week that works best for them. And they host sessions from like 9 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, or like, for instance, Reza, she lives, oh my gosh, where she lives, like Qatar or something. So she has one at 4 a.m. my time on Saturdays. So there's some time during the week that you can go to one session and just commit to that. And that's the other part of the Academy.
And that's kind of just like your own individual coaching. Hey, like go with your questions or your challenges and get that time to just expand what is on in here. Hey.
Yeah. I didn't know if you wanted to go into any more, but I kind of like talked about it a lot. But if you wanted to dive into anything, let me know. But...
All right. Well, I've got questions. So
okay, I'm ready.
First question is, in terms of the outputs that people can expect to create if they put in the work, you spoke about, a portfolio, a website. What other outputs can they expect if they do the work through the Academy?
Okay, so you're going to create a portfolio. you're going to create 2 resumes. So a beautiful resume, which of course I have beautiful resume templates already in there. And then you're going to create like a text only resume. And we have a template for making a text only resume as well, because many times when you submit to job applications, you have to submit text only resumes. So it's better to have a keyword rich text only resume ready to go. And then you send the pretty PDF version if you are networking, or you're sending it directly to that hiring manager, and so on and so forth. And so you create 2 resumes. And then of course you're going to want to update your LinkedIn profile. And LinkedIn profiles get updated with, your keywords, you change your banner, you add your portfolio to there. And many of the Academy members that land their first corporate instructional design job is because they did those things, and then they updated their LinkedIn profile, and then magic happened. Recruiters started contacting them. They started networking through LinkedIn, and they got interviews, and so on and so forth.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So one thing that always we hear about this kind of, I guess, development opportunity is that people sign up and then they do nothing. Now, it's very clear to me that yours is designed differently, but I would like you to describe, why is this different from just signing up to some online course that you pay for and then you never open it again? How are people supported?
Yeah. And I think, I mentioned it a little bit, but I think it is worth it just to kind of say like more clearly how you're supported. You are assigned a mentor. And so not only will you pick your mentor and the day and the time that you want to go, they will keep up with you every week. They'll like email you and find out what you're doing and how are you doing, and support you weekly with their emails, also their sessions, the Facebook group. So everybody's in there, the alumni and the new cohort. So any kind of questions that you ask, or anytime you get stuck, I think in the Academy we have 350 members now. And so there's at least half of those. Okay, we'll just say at least half of them are active in that Facebook group and are very happy to answer any and all of your questions. And then as far as feedback goes, right? There's a whole board just for getting peer feedback. And then there is an easy form that you fill out to get expert feedback on any and all of the things. And I think there are people that, like you said, that sometimes will buy a course and then they don't sign in. But I've actually had students that will enroll in the Academy for one cohort, not log in, but then they remember that they have it and they'll come back in the next cohort and they'll get it done, they'll knock it out, and they'll land their job. And because you have lifetime access and you can join in with all the new cohorts. So I think that's another thing that's different in the Academy as well. It's like it doesn't really expire.
Yeah.
And then, and then you have me. I tell people, and I've never had anybody abuse this privilege or whatever, you can message me. Like they can message me on Facebook. That's pretty much like the fastest way. And I really will do anything within my power to help somebody who's like putting in the effort. And so I've done things like give people references for their job. I've done things where I've done practice interviews with people right before their big job. I will personally give feedback on assets that you're working on for like an assessment for a job. Like sometimes they have like, oh, you got to create a storyline course in 4 days for the, for your part of your interview. I make sure that they send those things to me.
Yeah.
And whereas usually, they don't get feedback from me unless they, are submitting for a badge or whatever. But when it comes down to like that time where it's like, it's, they've done the work and they are like applying for jobs, like if I can be of service, I'm in there.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And I think like as well, you're a very savvy businesswoman. So that perspective for anyone that's going like freelance, you're going to give amazing value from there, from that perspective. And I think that is the one thing that I recognize about the Academy is that accountability. And, that's what these online courses, when people sign up and they do nothing, there is no accountability, but you have so many different little things in there supporting people to be able to, like, you've got the mentors, you've got nudges basically constantly saying, get this stuff done, remember your goals, like this is why you signed up in the first place. I think that accountability, we know that when we're creating training, we need to have supervisor buy-in. So this is just a reflection of kind of your version of that, which is pretty cool. You spoke about feedback there. What would you say to people around, like, because people are afraid to be vulnerable and expose their work, especially when they're starting out. Like I always hear like, oh no, it's like I'm just trying, like it's not ready to show yet, actually, is probably the most common language. What would you say to give them a kick up the arse to just get that feedback from, because like that's such an amazing service to have access to.
Apologize for my dog.
It's all good.
But so that's why I did do it messy this round, because I think you're totally right, Kim, that people get in their heads. And I think, a lot of what imposter syndrome is about being a perfectionist. And you can't get over imposter syndrome or lack of confidence or whatever it is that holds people back from taking action unless you take action. And so I want to encourage people, whether they sign up for the Academy or not, to take imperfect action. And so that's also why, I moved the feedback to its own community board within the course, so that it's not necessarily in front of a big Facebook group. And I hope that helps people as far as like getting their peer feedback. It's just a board, and we're pretty used to things like that in the university type of model. And if you're doing it imperfect and doing it messy, and you do that for 2 weeks, my hope is that you'll see that everybody does it messy, and all first drafts are shit. And we say it over and over again. And I will say it again. And so I think it's just, if you get through that mindset of like, it's about imperfect action through that do it messy challenge. And I hope that helps people say like, oh, feedback is no big whoop. Yeah. And we can't grow and we can't improve unless we just get it out there messy. Otherwise, like, what do you know what you need to improve on? Or it might be better than you think it is. You just have no idea. And it's really about following the process. Expect all your outputs are going to be crappy, but it's about following the process, and then eventually the outputs get better.
Yeah. I love that, and I fully support it as well. Perfectionism is subjective, so I'm on this hashtag do it messy journey.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on? I see a lot of people conflicted around instructional designer or e-learning developer, and in e-learning developer. Doesn't matter what's the industry looking for when we think about those role titles and the skills as well.
Like, should you just focus on one or the other? Or?
Yeah, how do you decide that for yourself?
Well, it's one of those things where I think you've got to, you can kind of know by doing some of the little bit of work that it takes, in the Academy, but even just as a person, like before you even join a program to make a career switch or become an instructional designer, try it out. Like, for instance, when I made the switch, I knew I wanted to make the switch because I loved making course assets. I loved making learning materials. I loved making PowerPoints. And I would just spend so much time on like the graphics of them and making them interactive. I remember back in like 2011 or something, I made and it was an interactive iPhone on a PowerPoint, and it like even had like slide to unlock and all these things, and it worked with the smart board. And so to me, that was like, I knew that I would be a good fit for e-learning developer. And I think that's kind of where you have to be, is like, what do you like doing those things? Do you like making presentations? Do you like making learning materials? Or do you like being strategic? And I encourage people in the academy to try it all out, because there's a sense of like a caterpillar of skills, right? You've got a little bit of knowledge in all of the different things that we do, because more skills equals more opportunities. And then you can get more, you can drill down and get those T-shaped skills or those more concentrated niches or whatever it is after you understand all of the things, right? Because how are you going to design a really good e-learning course if you don't know the capabilities of storyline? Like, how are you going to build a storyboard if you don't know what storyline can do? Right? So I think you should learn it all and then drill down later.
Yeah. And learn it all by experimentation and not being the expert. That's what I get from what you're saying, is you don't need to be the expert, but when you find that thing that like is connected to you as a human, that's when you drill down and you're like, I'm going to be the master of that.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't even find out what you're going to be the master of until, like, you know, you do a little bit of a couple of different things for a little while.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah.
I kind of got my answers. I feel like I'm trying to think what people would want to know, but I know you've got like good FAQs and everything on the website. So the link is in the description, but go check out the Academy and you'll find out anything that is unanswered, because you have filled the holes. Any kind of question that people have around it, you're already like all over it. But
oh, sorry.
Go on, you go.
Oh, okay. I was just going to mention one more thing that I forgot to mention, which is we do have paid experience opportunities in the Academy. And people ask about that, so I should probably go ahead and clarify that one. Yep. So there are 3 ways to get paid experience opportunities in the Academy. But the first step for you to do is you got to do the work, and you got to get those first 2 badges. That way, that's the reason why I do that is because I'm hiring you. I will be your client to do work for me, and I will pay you. And so to know that it's like, that's my way of vetting you. That's my way to know that you're going to put in the effort, you're going to do the work, and you're at a certain level. Once you're at that level where you've earned your first 2 badges, you can apply for any experience opportunities, and you can get them 3 different ways. You can help me improve the Academy. So for instance, we're always adding more content, more lessons. Like we just added a full instructor-led training module. We're going to add a full universal design for learning module with lessons. And those are all being built by Academy members. Okay. Well, that's one. Number 2 is you can build me a course that I can sell. And so you like build a blueprint and submit it to me, and I give you a project price and we work that out. So for instance, the universal design for learning is being worked on, and that's by an Academy member. Somebody in the Academy built Idle Movie Magic, like in collaboration with me. And so that's the second way. And then the third way is I go out and hunt for clients just to feed the Academy. And so that's the third way.
It is a holistic development opportunity for e-learning people, for sure. Yeah. That's freaking awesome. Thank you for being so generous and open with sharing for everyone watching, and for the continuous work that you're putting into the industry as well. Really appreciate it. It's awesome. So you got special deal for people that might want to sign up, or you want to let them know where to go to get involved anyway?
Yeah, they're going to click on your link, and if they put in the code Belvista, they can take $88 off.
Nice. Well, we'll have that link in the description, people. If you are interested, I think it sounds amazing, but it's up to you. You got to do your own journey and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to summarize if I can remember it all. So this is for people that want to do the work and get results for themselves. You're going to be supported by some badass people achieving results. You're going to have free reign to explore in your own kind of just in time where your personal journey's at, or you can go do that crash course, like couple of days challenge that you've got sorted. The things that you'll be focusing on is getting your website sorted, portfolio, getting your LinkedIn, all in the aim of getting you towards whatever your idle goal is. So it might be starting your own business, or it could be landing your job in a career kind of corporate land. And from there, you are supported by mentors, templates, resources. You get access to licenses for things like music and assets and beyond, and all the tools that kind of help us do our stuff. And you got an awesome community on Facebook and the private thing within the academy. You get the opportunity for feedback as well. If there's any gaps in the Idle Academy, I think you should let us know in the comments, because they're probably on the future pathway, or what do you call it, roadmap, or where it's in the future. But I think that's that's amazing. So yeah, far out. Well done. I don't know how you do it, but I just think it's incredible. And to do it in such a short time, it sounds very human-centered. We appreciate that and recognize that in what you're doing. I'm just going to keep going. Thank you. Well done. Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, you rock, Robin. Appreciate you. Thank you everyone for watching. Please share this video with anyone you believe it will add value to, because what is happening is awesome.
Thank you so much, Kim. And, you know, and I didn't do it alone, right? It's all those awesome members that come to the academy and help me do those things, like be the coaches, be the mentors, help me improve it. And so it's other awesome people like you and those in the academy that have helped inform what it is today.
Yeah. You got a really good community.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Peace out, people. Thank you. We appreciate you. Share it, share it, share it, share it, share it. Go do it right now. And go check out the link in the description and see if that academy is for you. Peace.